Hello YouTube. Today we're going to build a $600 gaming PC. So you're going to see the whole build process, and then we are going to test some games on it. This is going to be a pretty quick one. I didn't have the computer for very long, so I didn't get to do lots of testing, but I'll show you what testing I did. And yeah, I made some money off of this. It was for Marketplace, and the customer is happy. Alright, so let's get into the start of this build. These two components came in a bundle for $180. It is a Asus Prime B450M motherboard and a Ryzen 5 4500. For storage, we got a Crucial P3 1TB, great value SSD, performs pretty good, and yeah, plenty of storage for most people. Since that motherboard doesn't have built-in Wi-Fi, we have this Wi-Fi 6E card, which will also come with some very fast Bluetooth on it, so excited for that. The customer doesn't have a graphics card or RAM ordered yet, so I have a little Quadro P620 to fill in, and this single 16 gig stick of RAM for the moment until his stuff comes in. And then for the case, I'll just put a picture of it on screen right now. Sets in there. There we go. Alright. That's in there. But either way. Alright guys, so here we are booted up with everything ready to go. We have a Ryzen 5 4500 CPU, 6 cores, 12 threads. We have 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and we have a Radeon RX 7600 XT with 16 gigs of VRAM. And let's see how this $600 gaming PC performs in games. So all of our tests for gaming are going to be done in 1080p. So here we are, we're 1080p on the Ultra preset in BeamNG Drive. I start driving a little bit here and all that good stuff, and it's going to stay around, 60 to 70 FPS. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change up some settings in this game to make this game, perform a little bit better and still look amazing. We're going to switch over to FXAA, turn off depth of field, turn off detailed mirrors, turn down some of the reflections a little bit. So now dropping a few settings that doesn't really change how the game looks like, much at all. We are now getting a solid 80 FPS, and yeah, this game is running rather well on this computer. And now, for the last part of BeamNG, we are going to run it with some traffic. Currently at max CPU usage, but that's to be expected while loading the traffic. And it might take it a couple seconds to kind of iron out. We're getting about 50 FPS with traffic or so, which is not bad at all. Alright, so let's try spawning up some traffic, just a little bit less traffic than what we had before. So yeah, there you go. Now you're, at 60 FPS with traffic at 1080p with some higher, pretty high settings here, and this game is very playable. This runs just fine. I would be fine, playing this game for hours at a time, dude. Alright, so here we are in Assetto Corsa at 1080p, absolutely maxed out settings, and we are going to hop into a 10-car race on Magulan, just as we tested on the last computer, and we're going to see how this runs. Yes, you can expect around 130 FPS on a Soto Corsa with a computer like this, running a 7600 XT at 1080p max settings. This game, as old as it is, the graphics weren't impressive when it came out, in a sense of like technology-wise, but man, this game still, to me at least, looks absolutely amazing. Here we are in Mudrunner at 1080p max settings, and we're getting a locked 30 FPS. This is due to VSync, which is always on Mudrunner, and due to my stupid capture card, I've got to use 30 hertz. So this would run at hundreds and hundreds of FPS if I could turn off VSync, but sadly I can't. Here we are in Operation Hard Store Stock. We're going to test at 1080p max settings, and let's see how this game runs. Okay, so here we are in an actual game at the 1080p max preset, as I already said, and we're only looking at about, half GPU utilization, so we're bottlenecked by our Ryzen 5 4500, and overall getting around 80 FPS. That's some pretty great performance for a low computer like this. So, in a situation like this, you could definitely, turn up your resolution to 1440p and still get a great frame rate, considering that we aren't using all of that 7600. And here we are in CS2 at 1080p with the lowest settings, no FSR, no anti-lag plus, or anti-lag 2.0, I should say. And this game is running weirdly poor, only about, 80 FPS or so. I'm not sure why this is running so bad. I believe it's got something to do with the pretty bad memory configuration here. It's a single gig stick of DDR4 2400. The owner plans on upgrading later, and when he does, I think this will go up to, well over 250 or whatever. But right now, this is not a very good experience in CS2. War Thunder at 1080p with the high preset is getting over 200 FPS at some points, but it's generally around 180 to 200. Alright, so now that we're actually, fighting people and stuff, we're dropping into around, 140 and 160 and stuff. But, overall the game is more than playable, running very, very well, and you can get a high refresh rate experience at 1080p. In Red Dead Redemption 2 at 1080p Ultra, we're getting around 50 to 60 FPS here, and yeah, this game is more than playable on this graphics card at 1080p max settings. And here we are in Minecraft Java, 12 chunk render distance, and we're getting, a solid, 300 to 400 FPS as you would expect. And yeah, the render distance is plenty far. I found that pushing it much further would cause some stuttering, which I think is to do with this computer's poor memory configuration. But overall, this is a fantastic experience, and it would allow you to, put on Optifine and then use some shaders or something. So this game runs very well on this computer.
That'll be it for this video, YouTube. Let me know what you guys thought of the value of this computer, only $600 down in the comments. And just as I said in the intro, I didn't get to test a lot of games because I didn't have it for very long. I wish I could have tested more. But with that, love y'all. See ya.